What's up,
Cool.
everybody? This is Jeremy with the No Holds podcast, and man, I got a very special guest. This dude is awesome, man. He's got some music out there that's awesome. He also has a podcast that you need to go check out, and I'll let him talk about all that here after a while. But this is Cory Curry, man. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much, bro. How are you? How are
Dude, I'm
you?
very good, man. I'm blessed.
Good, good.
Yeah, I can't complain, man. How about you? How you doing over there?
Man, I'm good, man. Out here in Arizona, it's hot right now.
Oh, dude, yeah. How hot is it over there?
Man, today the high was 102.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was something like that over here too. Maybe
Yeah,
not as hot over there, but
right.
yeah, it was like that over here. Oh, this Texas weather, man, it changes every
Ooh.
day, dude. Well, you've been here, and it changes every day.
Yep, it
But
does. It does, definitely.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask you a couple simple questions. Favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. All right. Favorite
I'm like
food?
every boy, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, probably since I'm from the Midwest, man, from Illinois, probably pizza.
Pizza. Oh,
Yeah.
nice,
I'm a
dude.
pizza guy, man.
What's your favorite pizza? What toppings?
Sausage.
Sausage. Deep dish?
I like deep dish, but I mean, a lot of people, I think it's a misconception, man. A lot of people think, I mean, Chicago is definitely known for deep dish, but man, we just got amazing, Illinois period,
Oh
especially
yeah.
North Illinois, just got amazing pizza. Amazing pizza.
Nice, man.
Yep.
Man, I've always wanted to try the pizza up there.
Oh,
Man.
man, if you ever get a chance to go, man, try Giordano's or Lou Malnati's.
Ooh. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna have to text me that for sure.
I will.
You're
I
gonna have to
got
text
you.
me that. All right. If you can no, wait. The best advice you've ever received.
Ooh, man, walk in forgiveness.
Oh man.
Don't hold, like, just just don't harbor unforgiveness, man. And so we'll get into that tonight for sure.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and
Yep.
that's powerful right there. Yes, sir.
Yep.
What about the worst advice you've ever received?
Do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do what everybody else is doing, man. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
If you can go back and talk to your teenage self, what advice would
Mm.
you give him?
Oh, man. In a nutshell, just be your authentic self and just be who God created you to be. Don't try to, first and foremost, like, your relationship with God is the first and most important thing in your life.
Yes, sir.
But like, honestly, man, like, just be yourself and just be who God called you to be, and don't try to go with the current of everybody else.
Nice. Like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
Would you rather be loved or feared, and why?
Ooh, man, you getting deep early off the top. Loved or feared? Loved, man, because in love there's acceptance,
Mm.
and it's just a part of my story. It's funny, but just like the reason I came to God is because I felt a love that I never felt before.
Oh,
And I just felt accepted. You know what I mean? And so, like, I grew up in church, man, and heard about Jesus, heard about God, but I can honestly say I didn't experience it for myself.
mm.
So, but once I experienced that love, that acceptance, and like, that was it, man.
Yeah,
That was it.
man, that's awesome, man.
People fear you, that goes away after a while.
Oh yeah,
Somebody will muster up enough courage to come and snuff you or take you out. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
if they got love for you, man, people will go to bat for you, bro.
yeah. Oh yeah, I
People will
believe
move
that.
mountains. People will move mountains for you if they love you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
yeah,
sir. I believe that 100.
yeah.
Man, you talking about when you said you accepted Christ. I want to hear a little bit about where you were raised. How you were
Okay.
raised.
Uh,
Background.
background. Okay. Man, unfortunately, I grew up in a single parent home. Um, but it was also a blessing in disguise as well. But I grew up in a single parent household, just me and my mom. I grew up in a small town, probably like an hour and a half from Chicago. It's called Freeport, Illinois. I grew up there till I was 9. And we moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is like 2 hours from my hometown. Um, Man, me and growing up, man, it was hard because me and my mom didn't have a lot. Um, she was a single parent, doing the best she could, but the constant thing, man, was Jesus.
Mm,
My mom, introduced me to Christ at a young age, and yeah, man, it was rough. I'm not gonna sit here and lie.
yeah, yeah,
We experienced, going without, sometimes, but like it was all God always came through. You know what I mean?
nice.
I may not have had the nicest clothes, but we had food on the table. You know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? I had a mom who loved me. Some of my friends didn't have that. You know what I mean? They was able to do whatever they wanted at an early age. You know what I mean? I had somebody in the household trying to give me direction. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So yeah, yep.
Um, where was your dad at? Was he just not like? Did he pass
My
away? Was
my mom and my dad divorced when I was 3 months, and
mm,
so off and on, like I would see my dad, um, probably up until I was like 6 or 7, somewhere in there. And he would just come in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And my mom told me, when I got older, she was just like, one day she gave him an ultimatum. She said, either you're gonna be in his life, or you're not gonna be in his life, but you're not gonna keep coming in and out and then taking pieces of him every time you go.
yeah.
And he chose his path. You know what I mean? And so, um, man, so probably like 7 up until, man, dude, like junior year of high school, I didn't see him. And then one day, I got talk on the phone every now and then. Some conversations we had weren't good. You know what I mean? A lot of, but I'll never forget, man. I was sitting in one of my classes. I think was it my junior year? And I look, and it's like my dad at the door. I'm like, what is he doing
Mm,
here?
man.
You know what I mean? And so like from 7 to like 17, man, like I really didn't see him. So it's crazy, man. I never forget, bro. Like
Uh-oh.
and it's crazy. Like I would be at like these. My uncle. My uncle was like my dad. He took me everywhere, and I was out of this place. The YMCA. We playing basketball, and It's crazy, bro. This is how crazy I wanted a dad. Like I looked at this dude, and I was kind of like, "Is that my dad?"
Mm,
Like, why, I wish he'd come up and talk to me. You know what I mean? I thought it was like I haven't seen him so much or for so long. Like I thought it was him. Like that's how bad I wanted a dad,
yeah, yeah.
bro.
Oh man, dude. Well, see, of course, I didn't have a dad either. My dad died when I was 9. So growing up,
Wow.
um, it was just my mom, my brother, and my
Yeah.
sister, and she raised the 3 of us. So um, I don't know how it would feel for a dad just to kind of come in and out of my life.
Yep.
Like, I guess, did it make you feel like you just weren't wanted? Like, I guess accepted.
Oh man, I had like rejection issues.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was angry. I would do stuff, just to be noticed.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And
yes, man.
so, yeah, man, yeah, I had a lot of issues because of that, emotional issues. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man, did that carry on with you even after high school?
Jamie, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I just got over it probably like a year ago.
Oh man, wow. Yeah.
But like it's a lot of grown men out here like me who was like I was. They're still
Yes.
walking in this. But by the grace of God, man, like just me getting in my word, understanding, letting it get inside of me, like who my real father is. You know what I mean? It
Mm,
doesn't matter that my biological dad was not here. You know, God is my ultimate father. He
amen.
knows me inside and out. And then also too, God put other amazing men in my life to give me the tools that I need to become a great father, a great husband. You know what I mean? So
Oh
so
man.
yeah. Just having
Amen.
to look at all those things, man. Like it's funny, man. I got to preach a little 10-minute sermon at church, and Jimmy Evans. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Jimmy Evans.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah.
Pastor. He said something. I'm just kind of gonna paraphrase it. He said, basically, man, like don't look at like what you didn't have, but like look what's right in front of you. Father, your
Mm,
father is God, and like that is life
mm,
changing,
yeah.
man. It's life changing. So once I ultimately said like, yo, like everything that I need is in him for all my direction and my guidance. You know, me and my dad, like, we tried to reconcile probably like 10 years ago, maybe 11. And like off and on from like 2009 up until a year ago, like we tried, but like my dad is alcoholic. And
Mm.
so he just lives in this land, you know what I'm saying? And like I can't be there
Yeah.
for my mental, my sanity, you know what I mean? And I love him from a distance, man. I love my dad. I want him to know the peace that I had.
Yes, sir.
But
Yeah.
until whatever issue he has, man, I got to worry about my wife and my kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, man.
Yep.
No, man. I know it's tough, man. It's tough not having that father there. Did you have any uncles or
I had an uncle,
anybody
man. He
around?
was like, That's my dad, man." Like honestly, like if I didn't have him in my life, like the anger that I did have, I'd be in jail. It'd been a lot worse,
Mm.
And so, like, I was already angry, but like my uncle, you know, from when I lived in, like when I moved to Wisconsin, my uncle would come up there to, and take me like the Bucks games, basketball games, baseball games. Uh, he put me in like basketball camps, and all this was from afar, man. You know what I mean? And so, especially like when I lived in Illinois, and we lived in like 2 blocks from each other. Um, from the ages from like 4 to like 9, like man, he took me Bulls games everywhere.
Mm.
Taught me how to play basketball. Everything, man. So I never forget, man. When my uncle got married, I was probably like 8th grade, and I was a groomsman. And like I never forget, man. I just started crying, like standing there. I didn't understand why. But as I got older, I knew. I was like, dang, I was crying because I knew our relationship would never be the same. Cause he was my dad, man. Like
Yeah,
everything. Like so yeah. I had an uncle, man. His name Brian Bruce, man. Great man, great man.
man. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What about? Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I'm the only child.
Only child,
Only child.
man.
Yep.
Wow. All right,
Only
man.
child. Only child. So I had a lot of friends. Well, I'll say acquaintances growing up. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
Yeah,
yeah. But I had a couple people, man, in my life who I'm like still close to today. But yeah. Yeah.
gotcha. Man, what was the environment you grew up in? Like, I know you said your mom, she was all about Jesus, man, which is awesome, man. Like,
Yeah.
that is awesome that you have a mom like that, but also
Yeah.
like the environment outside of that.
Oh man, drugs. You walk outside, you see crackheads,
Mm.
just a lot of poverty. Um, you know, when you walk outside every day and you see what you see, it's really hard for you to see anything else, to dream. You know what I mean? And so um, I can only imagine. I thank God I grew up where I grew up at. Like it was bad, but it wasn't like some other areas.
Yeah.
Like some of these kids growing up in war zones, bro. Like I couldn't imagine. I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine. Like I was doing some studying, man, and like kids in Chicago from a city that's 2 hours from me or an hour and a half from me, kids growing up with PTSD.
Mm. Yeah. That's
Like I couldn't imagine that. You know what I
no.
mean? So, uh, just growing up for me, man, it was just like really just you just see poverty everywhere.
Mm.
And so, you grow up in that and you become conditioned. And like this is life, this is what it's gonna be. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So yeah.
Man, at what age did you realize, like, man, like, no, there's more than that. There's more to my life than this.
Really, when I moved to Wisconsin. Milwaukee's, I guess you consider it a major city in the country. Uh, when I moved up there, I was like, oh, it's more to life than this. I was like, okay. That changed my outlook. Um, Growing up, thank God, like we did travel some. I had aunts and uncles who lived on the East Coast. So my family, we pack in like a 15 passenger van, or we get a 15 passenger van and like another rental car, and we would drive out there. So it was like God was like showing me, like, look, this may be your now or how things are, but like this is what you can have. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So I'm thankful. Like growing up, I got to travel some. I got to go visit my grandparents who lived in Tennessee, but a lot of kids who I grew up with didn't have that. So
Yeah.
that's all, their reality, their now was their reality. So, but like, man, when I was like 9, 10 years old, uh, God was, I kind of like got to start traveling and stuff. And I never forget, man, once I graduated high school, I said, I am not living here. So, I went to school in Tennessee for a while and eventually came back home. But yeah, man. So,
Mm. Man, how
yeah.
were you in high school? What was Cory like in high
Uh,
school?
I was insecure. I played sports, I played basketball, man, but I was so insecure. I did not know who I was. I didn't know, man, that guy, he was lost, man.
Mm.
I did a lot of drugs and alcohol to like cover up the pain from, my dad and just other stuff that I had, experienced growing up. And ooh, man, that brother was lost, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
what
I was
about the
very insecure. Very insecure.
what about the friends around you? Were they pretty much the same way, or were they more like did you have anyone that were encouraging or
No,
no?
no, no, man. They encouraged me to come drink or come smoke, but not like, yo, you can do this, you can be better, you can be this,
Yeah.
none of that, So yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's wow. Yeah, that's got to be real rough, man, for sure.
it's hard, man. It's hard, man, because and then like, where I'm from, man, we joke on each other. You know what I mean? But like with me being insecure, I internalized it and like that became my identity. But
Mm.
I did become, I could dish it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get it wrong, I could dish it back. But like some of the stuff that was said, man, it hurt. You know what I mean? And like I took on the form of all of that.
Oh
I'm
man.
not this, I'm not that. You know what I mean? So um that's why like, man, when I, like when I talk to kids or, I preach, I tell them like, man, you have to know your identity. Because
Yeah.
if not, the world is gonna tell you what your identity is.
Mm.
You have to know your identity in Christ. If not, the image of the society is telling that you are.
Hey, can you repeat that, man? It kind of froze up a little bit. If you don't.
Oh, okay. Shoot. I think I said if you don't know who you are and these words that are being spoken to you by your so-called friends, if you don't know who you are, you'll begin to take shape to
Oh yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, man. Was it a dream of yours to rap in high school? Or was that more later on?
Man, I've always loved music, but like I didn't. I definitely didn't think I was gonna rap. I had
Mm.
no idea. You know what I mean? Hip hop was definitely a part of my life. Like honestly, them dudes raised me. You know what I mean? That's how I learned how to talk to girls. That's why I got what a man is supposed to be like. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
never in a million years do I think I rap. Never.
yeah, man. You think music is way different now than it was back then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's worse
Yeah.
because like honestly, like they leave nothing to the imagination.
Mm.
Nothing.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying our music was great. It wasn't, but man, it wasn't it wasn't like this, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
it
I
wasn't like
know.
it wasn't
No,
like this.
my my daughter was singing a song. My oldest daughter was singing a song the other day, and I was like, "Do you know what you're singing? Do you know?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Well, pay attention to the lyrics, and
Yep.
then if you don't understand, I'll explain it to you." Well, she still didn't understand, and I finally explained it to her. She was like, "Well, I didn't know I was talking about that." I was like, "Yeah,
Right. Yep.
not good. It's
And
not
you
good at all." She's like,
nope.
"Sounds good." It's like it may sound good, but pay attention to the lyrics. And man, it
Yep.
was being so disrespectful. I was like, "Wow, man."
It's yeah, I never forget I heard this. Somebody said whoever has the ear has the culture. And like
Mm.
look at this music, man.
Yeah,
It's got their ear
yeah.
and it's shaping culture.
Hmm. Man, yeah,
Yep.
very
Yep.
different.
Music is powerful, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. I
So what was?
told Oh, one more thing.
No, no,
I
go ahead.
told her, I was talking to a young guy. I was talking about music, and I said, "When you alone with a girl, what kind? What you do? You put on slow music, right? You set in the mood, right? Music, music is powerful.
Dude, yeah,
You're not
yeah.
putting on rap music when you're with a girl,
No,
you
uh-uh,
know?
not
So
at
yeah.
all.
Nope.
No, not at all. Man, yeah, that's
Hmm.
true, man. Music
Yep.
is very powerful.
Powerful.
And man, and
Satan, Satan knew what he was doing.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yep.
Man, what was before we get into your to your music, like what was life after high school? You said you went to
Um,
college, and how was
so life after high school, man, was dog. I can't even. It was crazy, man. So I graduated high school. Like I had started dibbling and dabbling, like selling weed, like um, probably like 16.
mm,
Uh, and so like my senior year, man, like I'm still playing basketball, but like I'm selling weed at school, and uh, I never forget one time, man. This was senior year, and I'm in class, and the dogs come to school, and
mm,
I didn't know the dogs was coming that day, and so I got like a half ounce of weed bagged up in my pocket. I'm like, Lord, please don't these dogs come in here and smell this, because if not, my mama gonna kill me, and I'm getting expelled. So I'm saying all that to say this. So like when I graduate high school, I go to college. Um, I'm doing well in college. Pretty well. I'm almost 3.0, and so I go home. I just went for a semester and I came home. Worst thing I could probably ever did. So I come home, go to junior college. All my friends go to a junior college back home. All my same friends are still there. And like, man, like honestly, bro, like I really, 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 really started like selling weed like super heavy. Um, you know, having run-ins with the police. I remember one time, man, I could hear a knock at the door. Two police officers is there. I'm at my mom's house. Only reason I backed it up at my mom's house is because I just couldn't do it at the place where I normally do it. And they got like a warrant for my arrest, and I got like a pound of weed upstairs. I'm like, man, Lord, I know when to pray when I'm in trouble. I said, Lord, if you stop this smell from coming down the stairs, I promise I'll never sell another bag of weed again. And so the smell stopped. And a couple weeks later, you know, um, man, I had an encounter with God, man. I went to church.
mm.
Um, my mom kept begging me to go to church that night. I'm 21 at this time. And my mom's begging me to go to church. I'm like, oh, man, I'm really not even going to church at this time. But I'm like, if she keep begging me, I'm just going to go so she can leave me alone. I went, and man, and I never really remember too much the preacher said, but I just experienced this love, man, that I never experienced before. And I said, Lord, if you real, whatever you want to do with my life, I'm here. And I called my cousin. It was a girl. I used to keep weed at her house. I said, you can have it all. And I'm just kind of condensing everything. But man, I had so many like little instances like that where God was like, I'm giving you these chances, dude. You know better too. I'm
Yeah.
giving you these chances. The grace is running out. You know what I mean? And so this is probably like a 2-3 year span when I'm having all this craziness was going on in my life. Man, I got in a car accident at 20. We flipped over 4 times. Uh, they busted both the A and B pillars was busted. The front windshield was busted out. All the side windows was busted down the van. Nobody had seatbelts on. The only thing I come out is a crooked finger and some scars
Wow,
on my head and on my back. And none of my cousins had seatbelts on. None of them. And we flipped over 4 times.
man, what was the cause of that?
We hit some black ice. So it was New Year's. We were partying in Milwaukee on New Year's. And then we came back home to Illinois. And man, we weren't intoxicated the night before we were, but coming home, we were not. And like I said, man, that black ice is dangerous, man. You
Oh
don't
yeah,
see it. And so we hit that ice, man, and we flipped over. I think like the highway that we flipped over on uh, there's really not a lot of homes on that highway, but we just so happened to hit some ice right in front of somebody's house. And
mm.
like, man, I never forget that day, man, because I was asleep, and when you sleep, you can feel like a car stop or whatever. So I felt the van turning, and I felt the first impact, and then knocked me out after that.
Wow,
And so yeah, man, I never forget, man. Just blood just come rushing from my head, and it was crazy, man. But God, like that 2 or 3 years, man, was hell, man. I promise you. I promise. But God.
Yeah. But God, dude. Yeah, man. So after that, you never looked back then. You kept moving forward.
So after the accident, I got right for like 4 months, but it was out of fear. And then that was 2004, but in 2005, April 1st, 2005, on April Fool's Day, I rededicated my life to God. And I've been going hard for him ever since.
Dude, heck yeah, man. That's what's up, bro.
Yep. I was 21 years old.
21, you got saved at 21 and never looked back.
I rededicated my life at 21, never looked back.
Never
I mean, because like, man, like I said, my mom, like I grew up in church, man, and you know, I had some experiences with God as a kid, at a young age, but just like, man, like I said, things happened in my life, you know, with my dad and some other stuff, man. It just made me furious. I'm like, why do I have to go through this?
Yeah.
And I just internalized everything, and I just turned it towards God. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So when did you start rapping?
Oh man.
Is that still years?
2006. I started rapping in 2006. Yep, 2006. So me and my wife, she was my fiance at the time. We went to
Okay, whoa. Okay, my bad. Before we get there, then let's talk about how you met your wife.
Oh man, so how did I meet my wife?
You better get this right, because I don't want.
Yeah, I got it right. I got it right. So I met my wife. She moved to my hometown my senior year, and it's funny, man. This is funny. I tried to talk to her, and but she wasn't going, man, because you know I only wanted one thing. And she was like, you know, I gave my life back to God, and you know, I'm not having sex. So I was like, well, forget it. Might as well not even continue this conversation, you know. But you know, we had a couple more conversations after that, and that was that. But we had mutual friends, and so we would see each other all the time. I thought she was cute and whatever. So I never forget, man. One time we were at post prom, and we came with two totally different people, but we sat next to each other that night, and then all of a sudden she just put her head on my shoulders. And so a couple of years went past. We went to the same community college. We would kind of see each other here and there. But one day I seen her in the spring of 05, fall 2005. And, you know, it's funny. You ain't seen me in a couple of years up to this point. And so she said she was thinking about me all day. And then she was like, why am I thinking about him? He a heathen. And so I just so happened and I just so happened to come out of the corridors, and she was like, oh my God, this is the devil. And so I went up to her, I said, hey, what's going on, Jasmine? And you know, we kind of started talking. I said, hey, I gave my life back to God. She was like, what? And man, from that day forward, man, we probably talked. We went to the cafeteria, had lunch. We talked for like 3-4 hours. She talked about God. And the next day, and then, you know, I had told her, you know, I'm not really looking for a relationship. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm talking to her dad. You know what I'm saying? Can I date your daughter? And a year later, man, we got married.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I knew she was it though, from like the first conversation we had. But I just, you know, I was just getting out of a crazy relationship, man, and I wasn't trying to like really rush it, but
yeah,
it happened.
Man, heck yeah. Did you ever feel like you would ever, let's see, because I know you felt like that with your dad about rejection and maybe not being good enough. Did you ever feel like that with your wife? Did that ever carry on in the marriage at all or anything?
I just didn't know what the heck I was doing. So like, I remember like, man, we getting arguments, and you know, I had like, so you know, when me and my wife got married, I had been saved for like a year. So man, I didn't really know like all of this like internal traumas and stuff that I had, you know, still in me. And so situations would come up, and just here comes this anger. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I'm like, yo, where is this coming from? Yeah. And so like for years, man, like I would just say like, God, like help me to become the husband. That was my prayer, bro. Like, Lord, help me become the husband that you call me to be, that you need me to be. And man, just over time, man, like God did it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
Heck yeah, man. All right.
But man, it was scary, man.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
definitely.
I mean?
Um, not having like, of course, that father figure to teach you to respect women, to teach,
Yes.
hey, this is what you need to do. This is
Right.
what you don't need to do, and
Right.
learning on your own. Man, oh yeah, it's
Yep.
tough.
When people say you treat your mama how you treat your wife, it's true.
Oh yeah,
Because
definitely.
me and my mom had, like I said, I was just an angry kid, man. I just remember just me and my mom having an argument. I just go in my room, and just punch holes in the wall. You know what I mean? So me and my mom kind of had a rocky relationship, and so it's true, man. How you treat your wife, and how you treat your mom is how you treat your wife. It's
Mm,
true.
yeah.
And so, yep,
Oh yeah, I agree on that one for
yep,
sure.
yep, yep.
Yeah. And then okay, let's talk about your music now.
Okay,
Get into that.
man. My music, man. I feel like now, like last couple of years, I haven't dropped any music within like the last year because I just moved out to Arizona, so I'm still kind of like just navigating, here, getting comfortable, but like it's still there, man. But over like the last probably like year or two, well, prior to me moving here, I feel like, man, like my music reflects really who I am.
Mm,
Like my wife was just like, be you, like don't try to be anybody else. I'm not saying the music that I made before wasn't good, but like I don't think it was me, and so like now I just feel like I'm being myself. I'm telling my story. Like man, like my song, like Hold On, like and like Shine. I feel like those like songs like just talks about my like how I grew up and like a lot of people like I would get text messages from random people saying like, man, that song really touched me. Like I needed that and so like man, more so I just wanted to speak from my perspective, my reality, and like things that I went through and like the things that I overcome. And so like I feel like, man, like now I'm just being myself, man. It
yeah.
feels good. It
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's
feels
awesome,
good.
man. I know I had cut you off earlier about how you got into music. You were talking
Okay.
about you and your wife and
Oh yeah, my bad. So we went to this church service in Minneapolis with the church that we were attending at the time, and we were in praise and worship, and like all of a sudden lyrics just started coming to my head,
mm,
and man, I wasn't very good. Nobody taught me how to write bars and write song structure or none of that. But I would I would annoy my fiance at the time. I would call him like, "Did you listen to this rap? Listen to this rap." And she was like, she was very hard, man. She was hard on me, and she would tell me if it sucked or if it was, or if it was good, man. But she's always been in my corner, and it's time where I wanted to quit, man. She's always been like, "No, like God called you to this," so
mm,
she still don't let me quit. She still
yeah.
won't let me. Yeah,
Oh man, is that where you got that song from? Too legit.
that just man, I was like, I can't keep making these like sad songs, I guess, or like just not. I ain't gonna say sad, but like songs about like my story. So I just like I got to put some fun songs in here. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere so I can. But like that's where that came from. That was
Mm,
just a fun song.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, I don't know if you. I got your
I
shirt
see.
on.
I saw it, man. You still rocking that?
Oh, dude. Yeah, I still rock it, man. I still rock it, dude. Heck yeah.
Yep, yep,
Got to,
yep.
man. No, we were talking today. I was talking to Pastor Mike today, and I was telling him I was
Okay.
having him on here, and he was like, "Dude, heck yeah, man, that's awesome." And I was trying to remember we were talking about the first time we met. Was it here at Never Back Down, or was it at camp? I
Never
think
back down.
Never Back Down. Yeah, that's right.
Yep, yep. Never back down.
How'd you like that?
Man,
What was your experience here about that?
I enjoyed it. I was sad I didn't come back, man.
Oh
I
man, yeah,
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, man. I that was a lot of fun. Camp and the Never Back Down. That was a
yeah,
lot of fun.
yeah.
A
Oh
lot of
yeah,
fun. It's
camp's
funny
awesome.
now, man. I'm getting into youth ministry now. So
What? You gonna be youth
yeah,
pastor or what?
I'll be able to give you more details in a couple months. But yeah,
Hey, there
yeah.
we go.
So
Heck yeah, man.
yep.
Well, I'll be glad.
I'm serving right now, man. So um, and I enjoy it, man. Like I've known that I'm called to this generation and my story. I know my story resonates with a lot of kids, man. A lot of kids are fatherless, man.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of kids, like, and it causes so many problems. I saw that when I went to, we took our youth to camp with another church out here, and I spoke, man, and like I just spoke on, just how God is our Father, and a relationship with Him, is key, and then when you know who you are in who your father is, know who you are in him, it gives you boldness, you know what I mean, to live for him. And so I didn't really realize, man, like my story helped so many kids. They would come up asking me questions. So I was like, okay, that's my message. That's my message. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
As far as what?
Youth?
Youth? Man, honestly, like before I moved here, like my buddy, he was a youth pastor at a church in Naperville, Illinois, it's a suburb of Chicago. Man, I go preach there. I've been there numerous times. So like the preacher thing has probably came up in like the last like 2-3 years.
Hmm.
And so like now, like at the youth, like I'm at my church, man. Shout out to my Covenant Life family. I'm doing a lot more here. So yeah, man. So it's awesome.
Heck yeah, man. No, I
Yeah,
I enjoy youth. And just like how you
I
were
do too.
talking, yeah, just like how you were talking about when I'd asked if you'd rather be feared or loved, you said love because the people that love you are gonna have your back. And I feel like that's
Absolutely.
how it is with youth, man. Like once they know, like, oh
But
man,
you
this dude
care.
loves me. He does love me. He does care. Oh, dude, they open up so quick, man. And I
Yep.
love
Yep.
seeing that, bro. Like that
Absolutely.
is, man, it's awesome. It's an
It's
awesome thing.
awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. Because like, excuse me, you were a teenager, man. You in youth or you're at church or whatever, and you see an adult, you kind of clam up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But once you see that they care about you, they open up to you. And like I've seen that, man. Like when at camp, you know, I'm really glad I went to camp because it got some of the kids to see me outside of a church setting. And
Mm.
so, like, man, kids was coming up to me, Cory, you want to come play basketball? And I'm like, sure, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So, once people in general have an understanding that you love them, and they'll move a mountain for you
Yeah. Real quick, man. Real
real
quick.
quick.
Yes, sir.
Because that's what we all desire to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta be love, man. Gotta walk in love. Be love
Yep.
wherever you go.
Yep.
Sir.
Yep.
And podcast. Let's talk about your podcast.
Okay.
What made you want to do the podcast?
Okay. So, man, it's funny, man. Hold on just a second. Young man, you have to go back in your room. Thank you. Uh, it was my guy Ty, and I cut his hair. I'm a barber by trade, and me and him, man, we have great conversations. And so, like the second time around, I cut his hair. I was like, bro, man, we had these great conversations. We should just do a podcast. He was like, why not? Let's do it. I'm like, wow, okay, well, let's do it. So we met at Chick-fil-A like a couple of days later, um, and just put some things on the table. And our conversations were about things like what we experienced growing up, um, and finances, and things that we didn't know about finances, things that we, as we're getting older, we're finding out, or just things that just happen in our personal lives. You know what I mean? So it's called the progression point,
Mm,
and it's like, man, like we want people to listen to this and like get inspired to like go to another level. You
mm.
know what I mean? So that's where it came out of, man. Just conversation, and we was like, let's just turn this into a
Yeah.
podcast.
Dude, I love that you had that. I love the name of it, progression point, but then I also like that you have like in there you even say, well, this is the progression point pretty much. Like there's a
Yeah.
I like that you do
Yeah,
that,
this is
man.
a point that you take and you can
Yeah.
progress with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. What made you
Yep.
come up with that name?
Man, me and Ty just was sitting down one day and just kind of like talked about like the things that we talk about in our conversations, and like we want to get us to people who come from situations how we come from, where we come from. Like, man, like honestly, bro, like the where we come from, places we grew up at, like some people will make it and never come back and share the information.
Mm, yeah.
And so, like, man, we was like, nah, we can't do that. You know what I mean? We're progressing in our lives. We want to share this information with people who grew up like us. You know what I mean? So, man, I know we'll be back at some point, but like, we were picking up some really good momentum, man. You know what I mean? And so, I hate that we kind of had to cut it short right now, but we'll be back. We'll be
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
definitely. Sure, man. I
Yeah.
was gonna ask you too, like, what made you move to over there to Arizona?
Man, so I'm a Rhema graduate, and so right before we went to Rhema, my father-in-law was kind of like he's called to be a pastor, and so we were kind of having these like they were like in the baby steps of like starting a church.
Mm.
And so, but then at that time too, God was calling me to Oklahoma. And so he said, whenever your father-in-law, and it's funny that now that I'm saying this, it's all making sense. But he said, whenever your father-in-law starts a church, you help him. And I thought I was going to Raymond for 2 years and come back, and we were going to do it there, but it didn't work out like that. And so in 2017, God kind of started pressing on my heart, maybe it's time for you to move. I didn't know where, but I just knew a change was coming. And so I'll never forget, man. I told my father-in-law that was over at his house and sitting on his couch and just watching TV. And I told him that. I said, man, Pops, I said, I don't know. I just feel like Arizona. I'm supposed to move to Arizona. And he started laughing and my mother-in-law started laughing. He said, just keep praying. Just keep praying. And so this was 2017, 2018 rolls around. And he tells me at church, he said, son, we're moving to Arizona. I was like, boom, that's it. But he said, I didn't tell you that day you told me because I didn't want to sway. I want you to be led by God on your own. You know what I mean? So 2018, I knew. 2019, 2018, I knew. We prepared. And in 2019, last year, we moved out here. And, man, a couple of days, it'll be a year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
How you like it over there?
Man, Jeremy, I'm not going to lie, man. I love it. It's a big city, but it's slow. I live in a suburb. It's called Chandler. So you got Chandler, Tempe, Mesa, Gilbert all around me. And then probably like 30 minutes north is like the city of Phoenix. And, man, I love it out here, man. Like I said, my kids will grow up very different than me. They'll go to school with kids who don't just look like them. Like where I was from, man, it was just black, white, a few Hispanic kids. Then I moved to Milwaukee, and it was just all black.
Mm.
And then, I moved back. And then now, but like my kids, man, it's going to be it's so diverse. That's one thing that's what I love. And just no crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like that. And, they'll just grow up different. And I wanted that. So I'm glad God brought us out here.
Dude, heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's good, man. You're talking about diverse and crime and everything. I wanted to ask, have you ever dealt with have a bad experience pretty much with the police back then? Or even now? Or
man, where do I start? Man, I really knew that it was bad. Probably, okay. So when I was younger, from like 3 months to 9 years old, I was a kid, so I wanted to be a police officer. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Milwaukee, and I lived on the north side. North side of Milwaukee is predominantly black, and I didn't see a whole lot of police. So then I moved back to Illinois, and it's a smaller town. Black people on one side of town, and then the rest of it is Caucasian. You know what I mean? And so I went to school on the white side of town. So police officers will actually follow us all the way home. And when we just walking, I mean, it's a group of kids. It's like a group of 10, 15 of us. We kind of loud, laughing, joking, but like we're not bothering nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And so the police will follow us home. Man, I'd have been stopped for no reason. I'll never forget one time, man, I was probably like 20, 21 years old. Me and my friends, we all walking. It's late night. There were some shootings going on that night. But like, man, I'll never forget this night, man. We were coming up the street and we saw like a group of like police officers come. They were plain clothes and they just like, get on the ground. They draw like ARs, like 40 cals. And they just tell us to get on the ground, they didn't tell us what happened. And like one of my friends, he was just like, man, we didn't even do nothing. We like, yo, like chill. Don't even worry about it. Like, let's just get this over with so we can go. And like they just told us to get up and didn't say I'm sorry, nothing. You know what I mean? And so yeah, man, I didn't have a great view of police officers by no means.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I never forget, man. Like even like when I rededicated my life back to God, and I married, and I never forget, man. One time I got pulled over with my wife in the car, and a police officer pulled me over, and I had the nastiest attitude. But like God, my wife was just like, "You can't do that. You can't do that." You know what I mean? And God just kind of started working on me, about the police officers and stuff like that, man. But honestly, bro, like I'm 36 years old, and I ain't did nothing illegal in over a decade, but I still get nervous, bro. Still get nervous.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it should never be like that, man.
Yep.
At all. You know, I've never really had to deal with that,
Yeah.
and honestly, yeah, racism is, I think it's at its worst right now.
Yeah.
I heard a podcast the other day. It was Lil Wayne was interviewing Snoop Dogg, and he was
Yeah.
asking him about. He was pretty much trying to compare from back then with NWA
Yeah.
to now, and he was saying, I think it's way worse because now it's just being filmed.
Yep.
Everything
Yep.
is just being filmed.
Yep. That's it, man. Like if it wasn't filmed now or they had body cameras, oh man.
Yeah.
But right now I'm really like a couple months ago, we were at the mall and it was a police officer. And he was just sitting there. And what I tried to do, man, was like I took my son over to him and I said, "Hey, can you just show him around your car?" And so like now I'm really trying to enforce like that positive image of all police officers, because all police officers aren't bad, but I do think what they have to do is change the way that they train them, because they come out of the academy scared. You can't do that, man.
Yeah.
I just heard this. I was listening to Dr. Eric Thomas's podcast, and he has a former police officer on his staff, and he's from Chicago, and he was just saying the way that they train them in the academy. He said some guys come from these small towns, and their only interaction with Black people is whether it's on TV or music or whatever. So how does TV normally portray us? You know what I mean? And so they got that in their mind, and then then only thing they teach them about in the academy is the gangs. So and then they send them into the ghettos, and they call those training communities. So it's like we got to start all the way over. I'm not saying defund the police, but like we have to start at the very core, and we have to change how they're trained.
Yeah,
we have to.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Have to.
I agree. You talked about defunding the police, man. What is your views on that? What do you?
Man, look, man, if you defund the police, bro, in the hood, like if you do that, you don't understand how much anarchy and chaos is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we can't defund them, but we have to change how they are trained. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to. We have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes back to even slavery. Like they use police to like bring slaves back to the South. You know what I mean? Like we have to change how they're trained.
Yeah.
We have to.
And I think too, man, it's I think it starts at home. It starts at home with kids, like how you just said, like you're glad that your kids are in somewhere where it's just a diverse community to where it's everybody, and instead of having it just in a community to where like Seminole, Seminoles is very different. There's hardly any Black people here, maybe one or two families. Like so it's kind of hard here. It's just kind of like when they go out into the real world, what is their reaction going to be? And I actually got to talking to a friend of mine not too long ago, and I asked him, how was it, whenever, not having Black people here, and then you go out into the real world, like what was your reaction to that? And he said, I was afraid.
Right.
Why were you afraid, man? And he was like, man, I don't know why, but I was just afraid. So it's like, man, what are you teaching your kids at home?
Right.
So, like, why are they afraid? Like, they should never be afraid of anybody, really.
Yep. But like, man, if you never put yourself around different cultures,
yeah,
that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's ignorance. It's not. If you're ignorant of something, you're gonna be fearful. You know what I mean? So you have to put yourself around different people. Like, unfortunately, as a black person, I don't have that luxury. I have to be around everybody. You know what I mean? But like, some people can just be around their ethnos, their ethnic group. They can just be around them, and like, I don't have that luxury. You know what I mean? So I know how to navigate in all areas of society. You know what I mean? I have to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No. I was glad that that I was pretty much in a diverse community too, because I wasn't born
absolutely.
here in Seminole, but I was
Right.
glad that I did. And
Yep.
it's just
Yep.
like, man, like I know you're not. It's not saying I don't see color, because I mean everyone
Right.
is different, but
Right.
it's just like, man, it's human. I mean,
Right.
and
Right.
people. I don't know. I don't know if you heard DJ Teddy. He was on here and he was talking about labels and stuff, and it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It can be like he was saying Mexicans are pretty much labeled as well, drunks, or maybe wife
Mm.
beaters, and different
Mm.
different things of drugs, and then you also have blacks as thugs, criminals, and it's crazy
Yep.
just because one person, just because, let's say, one Mexican messes up doesn't mean all of them are bad. Just because one
Right.
black person messes up doesn't mean,
Right.
no, it's just,
Yep.
yeah, I understand if you do that, then yeah, there is consequences, yes.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
I don't know why. It's just, I think that's how people are raised. Like,
It's
don't hang out
crazy.
with them because they're bad people. This is what they do. It's like,
Right.
really? No, that's not
Nope. Nope.
not at all. You know, um, I don't know if you saw Rashard Brooks, that
Yeah.
video or not. What do
I'm,
you think about that?
I definitely don't think. I mean, don't resist. I get that, but like, man, you got rubber bullets. I mean, you got other. You don't have to shoot him. Like, I understand, like, he pulled a taser. He shot the taser at you, but like, a taser's not going to kill you. Like, you shot and killed him. I mean, you got other. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard, man.
Yeah, no,
Like,
yeah,
I understand, like, don't resist. I get all that, and it's true. Just do what they're told. Do what you're told. But like, it's been dudes who done what they told and still was killed.
yeah,
What do you
exactly. I
do,
mean,
man? Flano Castillo, they said, "Do you have any weapons?" He said, "Yes, I have a weapon. It's registered. Let me go in the glove box and give you my registration and everything." Boom, killed him.
yeah,
I don't. It's like, you danged if you do, danged if you don't. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, man, I can remember from a young age, man, my mom telling me, like, if you encounter police officers, don't brush up. You're big. You know what I mean? Don't, just do what they tell you to do. And man, that dude should not have lost his life. I get that he did what he did, but like, man, I've seen countless videos where somebody of a different race shot at police officers, wrestled police officers, and they didn't shoot him.
mm, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, man. It is. I don't know.
it's
It's
all
just,
rooted in sin. We know that.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? If you got hatred towards another person, we know where that comes from. You
yeah.
know what I mean? But like, man, dude, like, they need a serious overhaul, man. In this police business, man. It definitely does. I
No,
respect all officers. I respect
yeah,
the badge, but man, they have to do something,
yeah,
because that should not be your first. That shouldn't be the first thing you go for. Like, the officer had his hand on the taser, dropped the taser, and then picked up the gun. I'm like, man, like, really? Like, man. So I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
No, I no, it's hard, man. This world is it's just getting crazier and crazier. It seems like,
Yeah.
because I mean, what, not too long ago there was the hangings in California, and then
The what?
there's two hangings in California.
Oh wow.
Supposedly, and there were two black guys, and supposedly they said it was suicide. I
Okay. Right.
I don't my belief, no, I don't think it was, but
Right. Right.
and then there was another one, I think, yeah, maybe a couple of days ago here in Texas.
Wow. Wow.
So, and they were saying that was a suicide, and I don't know. It's just like, wow, like, what's going on? Like, there's
Right.
I don't know.
Mm,
It's
man, that's crazy.
yeah, yeah. Um, the riots and the protesting, man. What are your
Yeah.
beliefs on that?
Man, I'm all for protesting, but the rioting, man, like you doing it, and you're doing it in your own neighborhood, bro. Like you're tearing this stuff down. We already don't have anything in our communities, hardly. So you're going in here, you tearing up our neighborhoods. These corporations are not going to continue. They're not going to put money back into your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, I get it with the people going in there trying to entice it up. And then, you got people who willing to join in and like, okay, you want to tear something up? I'm gonna tear some stuff up too. Then there's people out there saying like, y'all, no, we're peacefully protesting. We're not allowing that. But nah, man, I'm not with the riots, man. I'm not with the tearing up of our own neighborhoods, man. We already don't have a lot. We already have food deserts. We already have, food desert. A food desert is basically where a neighborhood where there's no grocery stores or anything like that. I mean,
Mm,
you have the local corner store, but they mark up the prices so crazy. You know what I mean? So, man, I'm not with the tearing up of our own destruction of our own neighborhoods, man. But I understand the peaceful protest. I get it,
yeah.
but I do understand the frustration though when you have people who have been constantly, you know, unheard for years. It's like a baby, man. If a baby doesn't know how to uh, um, voice their opinion, they throw a tantrum.
Mm, yeah. That's
So
true.
yeah, man, when your schools are poorly funded, or underfunded, when all that stuff, man, no jobs. I mean, what's gonna happen? It all starts at home. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But man, when
Yeah.
you can't get decent education and stuff like that, like man, sad, man,
Yeah, no,
sad.
it definitely is. I know a lot of now with what they're coming up is pretty much Colin Kaepernick. His protest. What when you first saw him protest, what'd you think of that?
I get it. You know, I he was like, yo, a direct, it's not being disrespectful to anybody. You know, so many people. Just trying to word this the right way. Um, Man, if I could just be honest, Jeremy, when you grow up in the America that I did, you don't see it from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't look at the 4th of July like somebody else. I just look at it as just getting together with my family.
Hmm.
I understand, people fought and died for our country, but now people know about Juneteenth. You know what I mean? Juneteenth was the day that the people who looked like me were free. You know what I mean? And so I'm thankful that I grew up here. I'm thankful that I grew up in America, it's a blessed country, but there are two Americas. It's as simple as that. And so I understood why Cap kneeled. A lot of people that some of my people didn't understand, but now you see why.
Yeah.
Now people see why.
Hmm. Yeah.
I got my grandfather served in the military. He was in the Korean War. My uncle, two of my uncles, well, three of my uncles went to the serve in the reserves. You know what I mean? So it's in my family. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, man, people took those positions because that was the only option. They
Hmm.
didn't want black men in the army. You know what I mean? So, but I respect everybody because I have the freedoms that I have because the people before me. I get that, but man, it's a different America, man. I grew up in a different America than a lot of people.
And you're exactly right, man. People don't. Um, you kind of maybe a community like this, or maybe not even here, maybe just other different places that are smaller, like where they don't have something like this, the ghetto or whatever like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So they don't know how things are,
Yeah,
and that's why they're like, well, why is just all lives matter?
yeah,
Why does it have to be Black Lives Matter? What's wrong with just all lives? And then
yeah,
so
yeah,
what would be your response to that when people say, well, it's just all lives?
yeah. Yeah, I heard somebody put it like this, man. If you see a house on fire, you know, you're not going to say like, but what was the analogy that they used? You see a house on fire over there, but then you say, what about my house? Like, no, that house is on fire. They need help. You know what I
Mm,
mean? They need to be, let's go over there and look out for them.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, you know, I I understand, some people may not understand it, but like just think of it like that, man. Like people who look like me have gone through a lot. And I'm not saying that to get sympathy or, to be a victim, but like if you look at some of the laws, man, like the 94 crime bill, who did that affect? People who look like me and people who look like you, black and brown people. You know what I mean? That 94 crime bill put a lot of our fathers, cousins, uncles, brothers in jail.
Mm,
That wasn't directed to anybody else. That was directed at us,
yeah.
you know? And so that's why the prison industry is booming. Then you can think about um, in the 50s and 60s, and 70s, redlining. You ever heard of redlining?
Mm, you might go ahead and
Basically,
explain it.
basically, certain areas in certain cities they were not allowing people of color
Yes.
to move into
Yeah.
because people, quote unquote, bring the property value down.
Yeah.
In America, owning a home is one way that you can substantially get generational wealth. You know what I mean? So you behind the eight ball there, and so yeah, man, just our lives matter too.
Yeah. 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 No.
Everybody, all lives matter, but like, man, like we got to understand, like, man, this country, man, as great as it is, it has a past, it has an ugly history, and like our my people, it set us behind, man. Set us
Yeah.
behind. Set us behind.
You hear, of course, Black Lives Matter is everywhere, and then another response is that I've pretty much heard on social media as well. Okay, well, Black Lives Matter, then why is there black on black crime?
Yeah,
Um, what do you think of that? What is your response to that?
that lets me know that you don't care. I mean, every race has Hispanic people kill Hispanic people, white people kill white people. You know what I mean? Like that lets me know that you don't care.
Yeah.
Because and then we do have marches and rallies for black on black crime in our neighborhood, but in our communities. But the media's not going to show that because it's just not going to get ratings.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's why I don't really mess with the media too much now, man, because they do stuff to um, sway people. You know what I mean, and rile stuff up. So
Yeah, and one thing I'm just like, why not just call it crime? Like,
exactly.
why do you got to call it black on black crime? Because
Yep.
just like you said, I mean, there's white on white crime, there's brown on brown
Right.
crime, so why
Yeah.
not just say, well, it's just a crime? Like, don't. So yeah, it
Don't
don't make.
categorize it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I
Yeah.
don't
Because they're
understand.
like, yep. Yep.
Don't understand why people do that. And you were
Yep.
saying, there's two Americas. Um, I know now, and I've kind of heard some people say it is a white privilege. You
Yeah.
know, what do you think of that? I know even Lecrae was talking about it. And I think he got
Yeah.
he got a video out.
Yeah. Um, there are certain things that a white guy can do that I can't do. For instance, I was talking to somebody and we were having a conversation and, just kind of, in Arizona, they had a curfew a couple weeks ago. And, we were just kind of having a conversation about, everything that's going on, race, dialogue about that. And he was just saying, like, man, he said, I was out at like 8 o'clock, 8:15, and the curfew was at 8. He was like, he said he had this thought that came into his head. They're not looking for me.
Mm,
And he was just like, oh, that's it right there. That's it. He understood at that point in time, right there, he was like, I have a privilege that somebody else doesn't. And so is it real? Yes. But there's like, where I'm from, it was black and white people living in poor conditions. And I had one of my best friends growing up was a white dude. If I was to get pulled over and he was with me, he was probably gonna get charged just like I did because it was class.
Yeah.
So, do I think there's white privilege? Absolutely. But if you're poor and you're Caucasian, you have a problem too.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I've heard it. I've heard, upper class, white people say, "Oh, he's white trash." I'm like, man, that's your brother. How can you say that? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely, there's white privilege, but classism is real too.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's good. Yes,
Yep,
sir. Man, did you
yep.
get to watch that video I sent you, Dave Chappelle?
And dog, I've been so busy. I've been hearing about the 846, so I'm gonna go back. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch it for this podcast,
Oh no.
but I am definitely gonna go check it out.
Yeah. No. It's man. Of course, it has language. It's Dave Chappelle, of course.
Right, it's Dave
But
Chappelle, absolutely.
but man, the message, man, behind all that is powerful. Man,
Yeah,
and definitely recommend watching it.
yeah.
If
I'm gonna check it out for
Yeah,
sure.
and just to anybody, if you want to watch it, man, I recommend it. Just it does have language. Just
Yeah,
try not to even pay attention to that language and pay attention to the
yeah,
message, and
yeah,
it's man, it's an eye opener for sure, man. I like it. It was real good.
yeah. Another good one too. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. It's called the 13th Amendment. It's on Netflix.
Okay. No, I
It's
haven't seen
good.
it.
It's good. It's a good documentary.
Oh wow, yeah,
It'll break down some of the stuff that we talked about, like redlining, and then some of the like the '94 Clinton crime bill, all that stuff, man. It's just a lot of good stuff in there.
wow, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
Yep. Yep.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you heard Drew Brees' comment.
Yeah. It's just a place of ignorance. I don't. Drew Brees. I don't. In my heart of hearts, I don't believe he's a racist, but it was just an ignorant comment.
Mm,
It was ignorant, man. It was just
yeah,
based on ignorance. So, some of his teammates probably sat him down, they had a talk, and they kind of schooled him on some things. And now he's like, I hope he wasn't just doing it to save face, but now he's singing a different tune. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But I just think, a lot of I think his comment was just based off ignorance.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think the next day he apologized. I think is
Yep.
what it was, and man,
His teammates definitely spoke up about it on
oh
Twitter.
yeah,
So he probably called them and they talked and, had a healthy conversation. And so now he sees it from a different perspective. But
yeah,
man, nobody's trying to disrespect the flag, man. We understand, you know, but man, if this is the only way we got people to listen,
yeah,
I'm for it.
yeah. No,
I'm
and
for it.
and man, and it's crazy how it's changing because even it's even changing in NASCAR. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see it.
I can't
I
remember.
know NASCAR is definitely deep, heavily in like some racism.
Yeah, I don't remember the last. I don't remember the driver. I think his name was something Watson. On his car, he put Black Lives Matter, and he was wearing a
Wow.
Black Lives Matter. And of course, I don't even think there's even black people that drive. That in NASCAR. I'm
Maybe one, but but I do know Brad Doherty is an ex NBA player. I believe he has a car out there, maybe a white driver, but I think
mm,
he's involved in
okay.
NASCAR.
So it's just like, man, like there's people are starting to realize. Okay, now I understand,
It sucks that it took a video like George Floyd for people
dude. Yeah.
it, it's just like, no, we not playing. Like, this is serious. Like,
Mm.
I'm surprised it didn't happen with Philando Castillo, but it took somebody seeing this horrific like neck. The guy got his knee on the man's neck and chokes him to death. To
Man,
where
yeah.
it's like, oh, they're not playing.
Mhm. Yeah, man. No, I couldn't watch that video, man. It just couldn't watch it.
Man, when you hear a grown man cry for his mom, like, bro, that broke me. I was like, I can't watch. I couldn't watch it, man. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it, man. Couldn't
It,
do it.
mm-mm. I mean, and yeah, it's just like wow, like you see this other human doing this to another human. Like, no, it's not supposed to be like that at all.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
man.
Yep. Yeah, I was right though. Brad Doherty, he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day. He's co-owner of a NASCAR Cup Series team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, nice. No, yeah, it's definitely changing, man. I
Absolutely.
believe the protesting and yeah, I don't know.
I don't care about corporations saying Black Lives Matter. I want to see legislation and policy change. I can care less about somebody donating $250 or, man, we got to see policies change, man.
Yeah.
I
Like
can care,
no,
like I said, bro, I can care less about all this other stuff, man. With Starbucks saying, you can't do it, and then you hear a little backlash. Now they're saying, oh, it's cool, or all these other Nike dropping ads. Nah, man, I want legislation. I want policies to change. I can care less about these companies, man. We
yeah.
need governmental change.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, I understand. You want change, man. Yeah.
Yep,
I mean, and it's got to change or it's just like, man, I don't it's just going to get worse.
yep,
It's just going to get worse, man, and
yep,
that's what sucks.
yep. I had to have this conversation with my son, man. He's 4. He going to school, I had to tell him this with like tears in my eyes. I'm like, son, my son's mixed, but like they're gonna see him as a black man, and I had to tell him like, yo, like somebody's not, unfortunately, not gonna like you because of the color of your skin. And, kids at that age, they don't understand that.
Yeah.
And so, I couldn't really continue the conversation because I'm just crying, So my wife had to, finish it up, but he's going to school, man. He'll be in kindergarten, and kids say pretty cruel stuff. They say
Oh,
cruel stuff, man.
yeah. Yeah,
And so, I just had to get him ready for the real world, man.
and it starts at home.
Yep.
It starts at home, man. Like,
Yep.
man, it's golly. Yeah,
Yep.
I couldn't imagine, man. I couldn't. I just, I can't. No, couldn't
Man.
imagine that. Not
Yep.
talking to my son or maybe my daughters and be like, hey, they're not gonna like you because of your skin color.
Yep.
That's
It's
tough.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
tough, man. Yep.
man, man. Well, man, that's all I got for tonight, bro.
Cool, man. Man, I appreciate this conversation, man. I pray this conversation helps somebody, but then also like open people's eyes. Like somebody did out there grow up different than you, had a different worldview, and like this is why they are like this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so, I'm an exception, man. Like I have no felonies, I have no kids outside of wedlock, and I'm married. I'm an exception, bro. Like it's not a lot of people like that from where I'm from. They
mm,
got 3, 4 kids by a couple different chicks, and that definitely could have been my reality. But thank God, man, like God got a hold of me, and so like that's like my like I know I have a call in my life to preach, definitely. And so, and I know the context in which I'm called. But like, man, like I want to save as many young guys who look like me as possible
yeah,
and give them Jesus. You know what I mean? And um, you know, I feel like Paul, man. Like he was like, like my people. I'm called. I'm Jewish by heritage, but like I'm called to the Gentiles. You know
mm,
what I mean? And like I know I got a call to the world. You know what I mean? But man, bro, like I just I never forget, man. I'm gonna say this, and I know we got to go, but
oh no, you
uh,
go
when
ahead, man.
I had moved, but prior to me moving here, I moved back to my hometown for a year, and I never forget, man. I worked in I lived in a city called Rockford for 10 years, and I worked there, and so like I lived in Freeport, and that was like 20 minutes away, so I would have a commute every day.
Mm,
I never forget, man. Like one of the first times I came back to Freeport, I got off work and I just kind of drove around where I was from, like my neighborhood where I grew up. I started weeping. I just saw like the houses were dilapidated. It just didn't. I was like, man, this just does not look like the place that I grew up. And I just said, man, God, like I don't know why you're taking me from here, but I want to come back and I want to do ministry here. You know what I mean? Man, I may live here, but like flying back and forth, or just just do something great for my community, man.
yeah,
Because they need hope, man. They need Jesus. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? But they need hope. They need to see somebody from where they're from make it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, Lord, I'll be that if that's the case.
Yeah, because man, you may be the only Bible, the only church that they see, you know, and
Yep.
that's what they need, you know.
Yep.
Man, man, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Dude,
No, man, this is great though, man. This is great. I appreciate you having me on.
dude, no, I appreciate you, man. Love the input, man. I love it. Love the testimony too, bro.
Yep.
Heck
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
man. You do have social media, you know, if somebody
Yes.
wanted to follow you and kind of, you know, follow your life pretty much. What you can go ahead and kind of tell
It's
them about that.
cool. My Instagram is Cory CORY _ 815. My Facebook is just my name, Cory Curry. Man, I'm kind of off social media right now, man. It's just too much. I'm off Facebook right now, man. I can't take it, man. It's just too much, and I don't need all of that in my spirit. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of taking a social media break. But if you add me on Facebook, when I get back on there, I will definitely add you. And yeah, man. So go follow me on those platforms. Twitter's the same as my IG handle. Yeah, man. So there you go.
What about your podcast?
Oh,
Your
podcast, the Progression Point Podcast. Yep, you can just go search. It's all one. It's all one thing. Just the Progression Point Podcast. You can follow us there.
Heck yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
And then you also on Spotify with your music.
I'm on
Like
Spotify.
you do have some
Just
music out. Then man, go
yep,
check it
yep.
out. It's
Yeah,
good.
please, 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 please. It's
Yes.
Cory Curry. Just it's my name. Just search
Oh
that.
yeah. And when you
CORY CURRY.
there you go. And when you do follow him, hey, encourage him. He needs put some more music out.
It's coming. I put a post on Instagram a couple of days ago. I said, I promise y'all, man, before the end of the year, I got some new music coming.
Yeah, man.
I
I can't wait
promise.
for that. Yeah.
I promise. I promise.
Yes, sir. I cannot wait, bro. Well
Yep.
again, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate just everything, bro. It's just I love that I got to meet you. And I love
Likewise.
that we're still friends, you know. And
Yeah,
that,
I never forget, man. It was a connection like when I first met you down there.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yep.
no, I'd love to have you back on here again sometime.
For sure. For
Talk
sure.
about different topics, of course. But
Yep. Yep.
yes, sir.
Absolutely. I'm looking. I'll be down.
All right, man. Well, until next time, we are out.
Man, appreciate
Peace.
you.